The biting wind whipped across the desolate landscape, carrying with it the scent of pine and the distant, mournful cry of a hawk. Private Kenji Tanaka huddled deeper into his threadbare uniform, the rough wool scratching against his chapped skin. He was young, barely a man, his face still carrying the softness of adolescence, now etched with the grim lines of exhaustion and fear. The war had been dragging on for years, a relentless, grinding conflict that had swallowed whole generations. Kenji wasn't a soldier by choice. He'd been conscripted, plucked from his family's rice paddy, and thrust into the brutal machinery of the Imperial Japanese Army. He remembered his mother's tear-stained face, her whispered prayers for his safe return, a promise that felt increasingly hollow with each passing day. His unit, a ragtag collection of men from across the Japanese archipelago, had been pushed to the limits of their endurance. They were fighting a losing battle, their supplies dwindling, their morale plummeting. The enemy, a relentless and unseen force, seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. Ambushes were common, the nights filled with the chilling sounds of unseen movements and the distant crackle of gunfire. One evening, huddled around a meager fire, Kenji overheard a conversation between two veterans. They spoke in hushed tones, their words laced with a weariness that went beyond physical exhaustion. They spoke of a hidden path, a treacherous route through the mountains, that offered a sliver of hope for escape. It was a dangerous gamble, a desperate attempt to break free from the suffocating grip of the war. The next morning, Kenji made his decision. He couldn't bear to continue fighting a war he didn't understand, a war that had stolen so much from him already. He slipped away from his unit under the cover of darkness, following the whispered directions, his heart pounding in his chest. The journey was arduous, fraught with peril. He faced treacherous terrain, the constant threat of discovery, and the gnawing pangs of hunger and thirst. But he pressed on, driven by a desperate hope for survival, for a chance to see his family again. Days blurred into nights. Kenji's body ached, his spirit weary, but his resolve remained unbroken. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, he emerged from the mountains, blinking in the pale light of dawn. He was free, but his freedom was bittersweet. He was a survivor, but he carried the weight of the war. The memories of his fallen comrades and the lingering fear of what the future might hold. He knew his journey was far from over, but for the first time in a long time, he felt a flicker of hope, a fragile ember in the darkness. He would find his way home. He had to.